Listen up. The real betrayal isn't when she confesses. It's when she doesn't have to. Because her silence, her smile, her little nothings are already screaming the truth. Most men miss it until it's too late. I'm here to make sure you don't. Today, I'll reveal 5 secret signals a woman cannot hide after she's cheated. But before we dive in, I want you to subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment telling me which city you're watching from. Because betrayal speaks the same language everywhere. And I want to know how far this message travels. Signal 1. The sudden sweetness. Signal 1 is the sweetness that doesn't taste right. You know her patterns, how she shows affection when it's real, when it's natural. But suddenly, she's showering you with kisses at random times, cooking your favorite meal on a Tuesday night, slipping in "I love you" while glancing at her phone. At first, it feels good. You might even convince yourself, finally, she's reconnecting. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Guilty affection comes in waves, not steady warmth. Her friends might even drop little hints. She's been talking about you so much lately, as if she's planting evidence of devotion. That's not romance, that's theater, and theater has an audience. You. What makes this dangerous is how it preys on hope. She senses you've noticed her distance, so she throws glitter over the cracks. For a moment, you relax, thinking she's coming back to you. But she isn't. She's coming back to soothe her conscience. The hugs, the gifts, the sudden tenderness aren't for you. They're for her guilt. Here's the rule. Real affection is consistent. Guilty affection is strategic. Watch when it appears. If her sweetness always follows unexplained absences, if her love floods you after a late night you can't account for, that isn't connection, it's compensation. The cruelest part, most men mistake this performance for love, and they cling tighter. Don't. Recognize it for what it is, guilt disguised as passion. But guilty sweetness is just the beginning, because when guilt turns heavy, it doesn't flatter you, it attacks you. Signal 2. The blame transfer. Here's where the mask starts to slip. When guilt weighs too heavily, she doesn't confess, it leaks out sideways. Instead of owning her betrayal, she pins the problem on you. Suddenly, everything you do is wrong. You load the dishwasher the wrong way, you're too distracted, or never affectionate enough. It doesn't matter how careful you are. She will always find the crack, because painting you as the villain gives her relief. And it doesn't stop with you. Pay attention when her friends mysteriously know you don't text her enough, or you're always too busy. Details you never discussed with her suddenly become gossip ammunition. That isn't coincidence, it's projection. She's rewriting the script so she can play the hurt victim instead of the betrayer. The trap most men fall into is defending themselves. They argue, they explain, they try to prove their innocence. But you can't reason with guilt. It doesn't want truth, it wants a scapegoat. The more you defend, the more material you hand her to keep the spotlight on you. Strength looks different. It's calm. When she lashes out over something trivial, look her straight in the eye and say, "You don't need to fight to justify what you've already decided." Then step back, not out of weakness, but out of dignity. That one line exposes her performance without you playing her script. But when guilt can no longer be dumped on you, it hides somewhere darker, inside the digital shadows where she thinks you'll never look. Signal 3. The vanishing online. Her digital world used to be predictable. You knew her rhythms. A goodnight text before bed, a meme during lunch, the casual scroll on Instagram while she laughed at something silly. Then, without warning, the rhythm breaks. Her phone is always flipped face down, notifications suddenly vanish, and the last seen on WhatsApp doesn't match the story she told you. She says she fell asleep early, but the app shows she was online at 1:43 a.m. It's not just activity, it's absence. The Instagram stories she once posted daily, her coffee, her dog, her random playlists, become strangely curated or disappear altogether. That's not just privacy, that's editing. Editing means hiding. Most men make the mistake of demanding explanations. Why didn't you text me back? Who are you talking to? That only fuels more secrecy. The stronger move is to observe, silently, and notice the shifts. Real intimacy shows up consistently. Deletion, delay, and selective exposure always mean something. And don't ignore the little things. A new work group chat that buzzes at midnight. A sudden insistence that she just doesn't like social media anymore. People don't erase patterns without reason. When her online presence starts vanishing in pieces, what she's really erasing is the trail. You don't need to hack her phone, you just need to recognize the silence where connection used to live. Because when she starts hiding in the digital dark, her body will soon echo the same distance. And that's when the truth cuts deeper than any text ever could. Signal 4, the cold shoulder in disguise. You've felt her warmth before, the little lean into your arm when you sit together, the way she absent-mindedly touches your hand, the soft ease of her body when you're close. Those gestures don't require thought, they're instinct, but when her fire has burned elsewhere, that instinct goes missing. Suddenly, her hugs feel rehearsed, her shoulders stiffen when you brush against her. You go in for a kiss, and she turns her face just slightly, just enough to wound without words, and she'll blame it on everything but the truth. I'm just tired. Work has me stressed. I'm not in the mood. Sure, fatigue can dull passion for a night or two, but this isn't fatigue, it's absence. The body doesn't lie, it speaks through silence. Through the missing spark you can't quite explain but can't ignore either. You might even catch her laughing at a message on her phone, her eyes lit with energy she hasn't shown you in weeks. When you ask what was so funny, she shrugs it off with a flat nothing that nothing is everything. It's the wall she builds between her secret and your reality. The mistake men make is chasing harder, more affection, more attention, more desperate attempts to reignite the flame. But the more you push, the colder she grows, because her fire isn't missing, it's burning somewhere else. And when her body goes cold, the performance can't hold forever. The mask will slip, and her story will start to crack. Signal 5. The story collapse. Stories can be polished, lies can be rehearsed. For a while, she might even convince herself that the narrative holds. But under pressure, the script begins to crack. Details slip. Timelines don't match. She tells you she was out with coworkers for dinner, but later, in passing, she mentions how her friend covered dessert. Which is it, coworkers or a friend? This collapse doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens in fragments, tiny contradictions that stack up. One day she swears she left her office at 7:30. Next week, retelling the same evening, it's suddenly 6:45. You ask a casual question, and her eyes dart sideways, her voice stumbles, or she changes the subject altogether. These aren't coincidences. They're stress fractures in a story that was never true to begin with. Most men make the mistake of chasing clarity, interrogating, demanding, drilling down into every inconsistency. But that only puts you in the role of detective, when what you need to be is judge. You don't need to corner her into a confession. The collapse of her story is the confession. Every shifted detail, every contradiction, every nervous glance is an admission without words. The real strength is in refusing to play her game. Instead of arguing about times and places, you calmly state, I don't believe this story, and I don't need to anymore. That's not an accusation, that's a boundary, because when her story collapses, the truth is already lying in the rubble. The only question left is whether you'll still bury yourself under it, or stand up and walk away with your dignity intact. The harshest betrayal isn't her lies, it's your silence while you watch them unfold. See you in the next video.